In 1950, America was painting the world in chrome and dreams. The war was over, the boys were home, and prosperity rolled down Main Street like a parade that never ended. Factories hummed with overtime shifts, suburbs sprouted like wildflowers, and every driveway told a story of arrival. The American dream wasn't just a concept anymore. It had 4 wheels, tail fins, and a V8 heartbeat. This was the decade when cars stopped being transportation and became pure theater, rolling down highways that stretched toward tomorrow. From the neon glow of drive-ins to the endless ribbon of Route 66, something magnificent was happening on America's roads. 10 cars emerged from this chrome-plated revolution, not just as bestsellers, but as co-stars in the greatest show on earth, the American 1950s. Buckle up for a cruise through the decade that put dreams in the driver's seat. The Chevrolet Bel Air, the crown jewel of Main Street. The Bel Air didn't just rule the 1950s, it was the 1950s. When Chevrolet unleashed this chrome-wrapped masterpiece in 1950, it captured everything America felt about itself: confident, stylish, and ready to cruise into the future. With its sweeping two-tone paint jobs, distinctive side spears, and that unmistakable bow tie badge, the Bel Air became the car that neighbors noticed and teenagers dreamed about. This wasn't just a car, it was a statement parked in your driveway. Young couples drove it to sock hops, salesmen used it to close deals, and families packed it for cross-country adventures to newly opened national parks. The hardtop convertible design gave it Hollywood glamour, while the reliable straight-six and optional V8 provided all-American muscle. By decade's end, over 2 million had found homes in American driveways, but its real legacy lived in prom night memories, first dates, and the simple joy of cruising with the radio turned up high. The Bel Air wasn't just transportation, it was transformation on wheels. The Ford Thunderbird, poetry in motion. In 1955, Ford didn't just build a car, they built a love letter to American style. The Thunderbird arrived as America's answer to European sports cars, but with a distinctly American twist. It was luxurious, comfortable, and built for cruising rather than racing. This wasn't about competing with Jaguar on the track. This was about looking effortlessly cool while pulling up to the country club. Marketed as a personal luxury car, the T-Bird became the choice of sophistication. Its sleek porthole windows, Continental kit, and removable hardtop made every drive feel like a movie scene. Marilyn Monroe drove one, Frank Sinatra crooned about them, and suddenly, every American highway had a soundtrack. Young executives bought them to celebrate promotions, and Hollywood stars made them as essential as sunglasses. The Thunderbird proved that American cars could be both powerful and poetic, a combination that would define the decade. The Cadillac Eldorado, the American dream made metal. When Elvis Presley bought his pink Cadillac, he wasn't just buying a car, he was buying into the ultimate American fantasy. The Eldorado, launched in 1953, represented everything the post-war boom promised: luxury, excess, and the sweet taste of having made it. With tail fins that could cut glass, chrome that could blind satellites, and an interior more luxurious than most living rooms, the Eldorado wasn't just expensive, it was priceless in what it represented. This was the car that made statements without saying a word. Hollywood moguls drove them to premieres, oil barons parked them outside steakhouses, and young rock stars bought them the day their first records went gold. Power steering, power brakes, and power everything made driving feel effortless, while the imposing presence made traffic part like the Red Sea. The Eldorado wasn't just about getting somewhere. It was about arriving in style that announced your place in the American success story. The Chevrolet Corvette, America's fiberglass fantasy. In 1953, America got its first true sports car, and it was revolutionary in ways no one expected. The Corvette burst onto the scene with a fiberglass body that sparkled like captured lightning and performance that made European competitors nervous. This wasn't just Chevrolet's sports car. This was America's declaration of automotive independence. Built for the open road and endless possibilities, the Corvette became the dream machine for anyone who ever wanted to chase sunsets down Route 66. Its unique construction made it light, fast and futuristic, while its distinctly American personality made it approachable rather than intimidating. Young veterans bought them to recapture the thrill of freedom, and teenagers worked summer jobs just to afford insurance on one. The Corvette proved that American engineering could be both innovative and intoxicating, a combination that would make it legendary. Buick Roadmaster, the suburban king. The Roadmaster rolled into the 1950s like the automotive equivalent of a three-piece suit: powerful, respectable, and undeniably impressive. With its commanding chrome grille, distinctive portholes, and substantial presence, it became the choice of families who had made the move from city apartments to suburban split levels. This was the car that said you had arrived, both literally and figuratively. More than just transportation, the Roadmaster was the centerpiece of the suburban American dream. Fathers drove them to offices in glass towers, mothers used them for grocery runs that felt like royal processions, and families packed them for vacations to places like Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon. Its Dynaflow automatic transmission made driving feel effortless, while its spacious interior could accommodate both groceries and grand ambitions. The Roadmaster wasn't just big, it was bigger than life, perfectly suited for a decade that thought the same way. The Plymouth Fury, the sleeper hit. Launched in 1956, the Plymouth Fury brought high-performance attitude to the family car segment. With its distinctive forward-leaning fins, aggressive stance, and available high-output V8, it was the car that proved sensible didn't have to mean boring. While other cars shouted their performance credentials, the Fury whispered them until you pressed the accelerator. This became the favorite of those who wanted performance without the pretense. Police departments adopted them for patrol cars, young professionals bought them for weekend getaways, and drag racing enthusiasts discovered their potential on Friday nights at local strips. The Fury's clean lines and restrained chrome made it age gracefully, while its robust engineering meant many survived long enough to become legends through Stephen King's Christine. It was proof that sometimes the most dangerous things came in the most civilized packages. The Ford Fairlane, America's sweetheart. In 1955, Ford introduced the Fairlane as the perfect balance between style and sensibility. Named after Henry Ford's estate, it carried itself with quiet dignity, while offering the modern conveniences that made 1950s life feel effortless. This wasn't the flashiest car on the block, but it was often the most beloved. The Fairlane became the star of drive-in theaters and church parking lots across America. Its clean styling aged well, its reliable V8 provided genuine performance, and its comfortable interior made long drives feel short. Young couples chose it for honeymoons, growing families relied on it for school pickups, and retirees polished it lovingly in suburban driveways. The Fairlane proved that being the best didn't always mean being the biggest or boldest. Sometimes it meant being perfectly, timelessly right. The Chevrolet Impala, the late bloomer. When the Impala debuted in 1958, it arrived fashionably late to the decade, but made up for lost time with pure presence. With its wide, low stance and distinctive triple taillights, it looked like it was moving even when parked. This was Chevrolet's answer to the luxury market, but with an accessibility that made dreams achievable. The Impala quickly became the car of choice for those who wanted to make an entrance. Its spacious interior could seat 6 in comfort, while its smooth ride made America's growing interstate highway system feel like a personal playground. Teenagers worked summer jobs to buy used ones, families upgraded to them as symbols of success, and customizers discovered their potential for transformation. The Impala wasn't just the end of the decade, it was the beginning of a legend that would span generations. The Lincoln Continental Mark II, the exclusive elite. From 1956 to 1957, Lincoln built something extraordinary. A car so exclusive, so meticulously crafted that it rivaled anything coming from Europe. The Continental Mark II was hand-assembled, individually tested, and priced like fine jewelry. At nearly $10,000, it cost more than most houses, but for those who could afford it, price was irrelevant. This was the choice of Hollywood royalty, business titans, and anyone who understood that true luxury whispered rather than shouted. Elvis bought one, Frank Sinatra owned several, and European nobility imported them as symbols of American achievement. Every Mark II was essentially custom-built, with attention to detail that made Swiss watchmakers jealous. Only 3,000 were ever built, making each one a rolling piece of automotive art. The Continental Mark II proved that American luxury could compete with anything the world had to offer. The Studebaker Champion and Hawk, the beautiful rebels. While the Big Three dominated headlines, Studebaker played the role of the innovative underdog with distinctive style that looked like it came from the future. The Champion and Hawk series brought European-inspired design to American roads, with clean lines and aerodynamic shapes that made other cars look bulky by comparison. Studebaker attracted customers who valued innovation over conformity. Their cars featured advanced engineering, distinctive styling, and a personality that stood out in any parking lot. Teachers drove them to schools, architects chose them for their design sensibility, and young professionals bought them to make statements about their own forward-thinking attitudes. While Studebaker couldn't match the production numbers of Detroit's giants, they created cars that were more memorable than many bestsellers. They proved that sometimes being different was better than being popular. The chrome-plated legacy. These cars weren't just popular, they were personal. They carried families to new suburban homes, teenagers to first dates, and dreams toward horizons that seemed endlessly promising. Every chrome detail reflected optimism. Every tail fin pointed toward tomorrow, and every V8 rumble promised that the best was yet to come. In a decade that invented the teenager, built the interstate, and made the drive-in movie a national institution, these cars became the supporting cast in America's greatest performance. The belief that anything was possible if you had the keys to the right car. They weren't just transportation, they were time machines that could take you anywhere you wanted to be. And while Gen Z might scroll through TikTok instead of cruising to drive-ins, the dream of the perfect ride, whether it's chrome and fins or cutting-edge tech, remains eternally American. Which one would your grandparents choose today? If this cruise through chrome-plated memories made you smile, remember, or dream of the open road, don't forget to subscribe for more journeys worth taking.